Welcome to Metcraft's guide to installing our PVK-1 repair kit. To begin, we will shut off the water to the valve. Ideally, you will have a shut-off readily available, but if that is not the case, you can fully screw down the stops on our stop checks, which will cut off water to the valve module. You can now activate your push button to release any residual pressure in the valve, then remove the tubing from the modules. It is possible to service the valve while mounted on the bracket, but this will be more challenging. Metcraft recommends keeping a spare valve assembly so that you can quickly swap this out and work on the existing valve in your maintenance area. Each valve module has one screw that secures at the valve bracket. Remove these screws, but leave the 4 screws that anchor the stop checks. Next, you will remove the C-clips that attach the stop checks to the remainder of the valve. You can now freely remove the top portion of the valve to allow an easier repair. If you have a spare valve assembly on hand, you can easily replace it at this point and get your fixture back up and running with minimal downtime. At this point, we're ready to replace the PVK-1 on our valve. We have our new replacement kit on our maintenance table to the left of the upper portion of the valve. To begin, we will remove the screws and lock washers that attach the PVK module to the base. Be sure to keep these and the nuts from the valve base. Then we can remove the PVK-1 module and rotate it so we can access the underside. We need to remove the disc and spring from the module top, as these are not included in the PVK-1 components. If you need these parts, they are included in our PVK-2 replacement kit, which is part number 16426. Now we can set aside the old PVK module top and install the spring and disc into our new top. When installing the disc, make sure to orientate the nib as shown. The cone-shaped side should face up into the module. You are now ready to put the module top back on the base and fasten the lock washers and screws back into position. If you did not have a spare valve on hand, we will now reinstall the top part of the valve back onto the bracket. First, slide the valve back onto the stop checks and insert the C-clips. Then we will fasten the screws on the valve base to the bracket. When reinstalling the tubing, make sure to firmly press the tube into the socket before tightening the nut. Compression connections should be tightened, but over-tightening may cause damage. Next, we will connect the 1/8 tubing to the valve. There is not a nut on the valve side of this connection. Instead, there are brass hose barbs located on each valve module. When inserting the tubing over these hose barbs, make sure it is fully seated. To finish, we will open our stop checks and the supply valves, then activate the valve to remove any air from the tubing. That completes this video on how to repair your Metcraft valve using our PVK-1 replacement kit. Thanks for watching.